It's always great to talk to one of the local charities in the area, and I'm joined on the line now by Jeordie, who is the Tonic Rider coordinator. Jeordie, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, as we explained just when we came on air, boring, I think the term is with my job title. You've got such a good title there for your work. Now let's talk all about tonic music for mental health. How did you first get involved with it, and what is your role?
So I got involved with Tonic through my research around mental health in the music industry. So this was in 2021. And my role is the coordinator of the Tonic Rider program, which is the program that focuses on promoting good mental health in the music industry. But Tonic was founded in 2012, and as you will know, provides different elements of work. So as well as working with the music industry as part of our Never Mind the Stigma program, we also work supporting music fans as well.
Right. A lot of people would, especially me, would think outside the industry that working in the music industry is really cool. And you're sport, you've got no problems whatsoever. How do people get affected within the music industry as regards to mental health?
Yeah, so the music industry seems to have its own unique stresses that impact upon the mental health, not just the musicians, but also crew and managers, venue operators. And we can think of it as quite a unique industry, and the occupations within it are very unique. So there's sort of the 24/7 work life, there's the sort of non 9 to 5ness is quite full on, and that leads to a lack of sleep, that can lead to poor diet, that can lead to difficult relationships in terms of their own personal relationship. And with our work with Tonic Rider, we see many musicians who experience performance anxiety. Even musicians who are performing on the bigger stages will still have performance anxiety. They encounter creative blocks as well. And then for the remaining industry, there is the kind of the hyper competition of the industry as well, that you can't take a day off if you're unwell, because there's always someone who could take your place, whether that's if you're a roadie, whether that's if you're a manager. And it can be a very difficult industry for everyone. So it can be really rewarding, and we know music is rewarding, not just in terms of our own mental health, but we know it's a rewarding industry in terms of how great it is. But there are these pitfalls, there are these stresses.
And regards to social media, because everybody has to have a focal point, don't they? That's almost become like their shop window. How much are they affected by the outcomes of social media?
Yes, so you get sort of almost like social media burnout, and this is quite a new thing within the music industry, because social media has not been around for too long. So whereas before, particularly musicians, you'd have the producing your own work, so writing the song, and then you'd be performing your song. There's almost this added pressure now with that your identity, you have to be your music identity 24/7, and you have to be posting on social media, whether that's promoting an album, whether that's promoting a tour, whether that's putting a post out just to say how your day's going. So there's almost this lack of privacy, and the boundary between fans and artists is becoming more blurred, and that's a lot of pressure, because we know from the general public, sometimes being on social media too much can lead us to wanting to take time out. But for artists in particular, they can't take time out from social media because they have to utilise it as almost an entrepreneurial tool.
It's one of these things, you meet celebrities or people involved in music, and someone will say, I met them and they were a miserable swine. But you don't know what's going behind the eyes, do you? You don't know when you've met them, what they've been through.
Absolutely. And this is the thing, I think we've got greater understanding now. So in the last few years, there's been artists who have cancelled tours, and actually stating when they've cancelled tours, saying, I'm cancelling this tour for my own mental health or for the crew's mental health, whereas before that wouldn't have been so open. And I think we've really seen a cultural shift as well, whereas, particularly around substance use, but also mental health more generally, whereas once upon a time, mental health may have been sort of stigmatised generally in society, but also with musicians. You may have the media almost kind of ridicule musicians for their poor mental health. There might have been judgments, there might have been criticisms, there might have also been sort of labelled almost as deviant. Now there's this real empathy towards mental health and musicians, and understanding that musicians are human beings. musicians have emotions, musicians have families and their own private lives. So there is this better understanding now where we can see. And I think back to the coverage, particularly in the noughties, where you had Amy Winehouse and how she was really ridiculed for some of the things she went through.
Yeah.
I don't think we see that so much now, and I think it's nice because there are less criticisms of saying, oh, this musician was particularly, they were quite moody or they didn't talk to me. But now we have this understanding that musicians are they are fully entitled to their private life. So it's really we have to understand their space and not encroach it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. We're going to take a break for a song. I thought obviously one of your ambassadors was the wonderful and sadly no longer with us, Terry Hall. But before we come back, if people want to find out more about you, about Tonic Music, before we come back for the second part, where can they get hold of you?
Yeah, so on our website, tonicmusic.co.uk, it's got all the information about the programs we run, the resources we provide, and all the events that we attend as well. And also on social media, our social media handle is @tonicmusicmh.
Lovely. Right, we'll come back more from Jeordie right up after this. Right, I'm joined on the phone by Jeordie from Tonic Music for Mental Health. Before the break, we were talking about how mental health can affect musicians and everybody involved in the music industry. How's it been during the pandemic?
So the pandemic was significant for everyone across the world, and particularly for the arts and particularly for the music industry. There was no live shows. There was, the arts really did lose out in terms of funding and support. And what we found is you have the stressor of the lockdown itself. So there was isolation. There was a lot of artists and crew who were going on world tours, and suddenly they're at home, and they're at home for the longest period of time that they've had. And in fact, some artists and crew even didn't return to their careers for different reasons, either financially, but also maybe thinking of a career change.
Yeah.
But then also post-COVID, there's certain issues that arose. So we've got concerns about COVID. We've got the more financial concerns.
Yeah.
Also performance anxiety as well, because for a lot of musicians, they've been performing for 20, 30 years straight without a significant break, and then to have that kind of year and a half, 2-year break, suddenly performance anxiety become a thing for them for the first time. And generally across the industry, we are finding that where just that muscle memory of performance, and that's not just for musicians as well, that's with crew, that's led to more accidents as well. So it has had a real significant impact, and we are seeing financially with the industry as well, venues, are still struggling. They were struggling anyway, particularly grassroots venues. With COVID, that was a big impact. We're finding also the recording industry, there's more reliance on streaming now because record stores were shut, so there's more reliance on streaming, there's poor remuneration from streaming. So generally the industry was significantly impacted by the COVID-19 lockdown.
Yeah, and I know for a fact, we're running out of time now, but you do so many courses. Give us a quick brief update on some of the courses that you run, please, Jeordie.
Yes, for the music industry on the Tonic Rider program, we offer peer support groups, which are funded by Help Musicians, and these are 6-week groups for musicians, crew, managers, anyone from the music industry to attend 6 sessions facilitated by a psychotherapist from the music industry. And one of those psychotherapists is Adam Frychek, who's the drummer from Baby Shambles, but also a qualified psychotherapist. So he leads them groups to provide a safe space for the music industry to talk and just have that shared understanding between one another. And also we run a weekly drop-in group, that's an extension of that. And in terms of courses, we provide the music industry at a half-price rate, or in some cases free places on our fully accredited mental health first aid and suicide first aid light courses.
Brilliant. Listen, Jeordie, again, if you want to find out more and to support all the phenomenal work that you do, and I need to give a shout out as well to one of your incredible ambassadors, Mr. Barry Ashworth from the Dub Pistols, who just flies the Tonic Music for Mental Health flag like no one ever can, and including that with his wing walks. If you want to support you, all the great work you do, where can they go, mate?
So we are attending Victoria's Festival, so we've got different areas at Victoria's Festival. So we've been at Victoria's Festival every year since the beginning. As a proud charity based in Portsmouth and
Brilliant.
a proud Portsmouth Festival, you'll find our Tonic Lounge next to Lidl, which is new for this year, which is a safe space for attendees to come and sit and chill out. We have our Never Mind the Stigma merch stand where you can buy our new collaborative T-shirt in partnership with Victorious and Strong Island.
I've seen it. It looks stunning.
It's fantastic, isn't it? And we are also providing backstage support for artists, crew and personnel who are working at Victorious Festival. So we've got these 3 areas where you can find us across the weekend.
Brilliant. All the best to you, Jeordie. Great to talk to you. Look forward to catching up with you at Victorious.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Bye, mate.
Bye.